right, it is 6 o'clock on Monday, February 3rd, 2025. We'll call our meeting to order and start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we'll have the roll call.
Simonson?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Collister?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Alinger?
Yes.
Bennett? Yes.
All right, how about an approval of the agenda for this evening?
So moved.
Motion by Collister, seconded by Bennett. And if we have no discussion, take the roll.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Collister?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Alinger?
Yes.
Bennett? Yes. Simonson?
Yes.
All right, we move now to item 5, which is public participation. If we have anybody in the audience who wishes to get up and speak to the council, now's your chance. Go on up. We do ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. All right, Ralph?
Okay, I'll try. I'm going to talk a little bit about the green space. I'm concerned about the safety of it. I never thought about it until the accident happened on Bourbon Street where the car drove down and injured and killed people. And I'm looking at our green space and there's no safety net around it at all. And I'm thinking maybe we should have a concrete wall, 8 inches, maybe 2 foot high with brick around the outside of it to make it look nice. And that would prevent that would be a little safer. Also, if we moved the stage to the southwest corner, that would provide safety too for the green space. I've been to many small parks in Chicago, and I know this restroom is going to take a lot of seating area. And I think the Iowa State students realize that too, and that's why they had seating on top of the roof. I don't know how many seats you're going to lose with the restrooms, but I think if we had portable restrooms on the street, we'd have more seating to watch the events. What else? There's an old saying in architecture, form follows function. If the function is football, build a stadium. If the function is basketball, form an arena. If the function is getting people downtown, form an area where people are comfortable, maybe with a roof. So that's what I'm thinking about there. The First Impressions group that came here to town said we're really low on signage. There's nothing going on, they don't know what's going on in the community. If we had a roof over the green space, we could have a nice sign run by the chamber on different events coming up. Maquoketa, we always say we're one of a kind. This is an opportunity to build something very unique with a roof that no other park would have. And it'd be an area where people could go and sit comfortably and watch any event there. And instead, we're going to litter the area with trees and leaves, just like every other park in the area. I don't think the safety committee, the park board, or the tree board has even approved this. And I don't know why the committee didn't go to these groups and talk to them before they push forward with their idea. So that's the comments I have to make, I think.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ralph.
Thanks, Ralph. Anybody else wish to address the council? Anybody on Zoom? If not, we'll move along. Next, we have presentations. Item A is Building Inspector's Report for the fourth quarter.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. How we doing tonight?
Doing good.
Good.
Here I am again. This will be for the fourth quarter of 2024. As I said in the report, let's go through the building permits first, I guess, because I have it wrote down here first. We had 40 building permits applied for and given in the last quarter of 24, and then the last quarter of 23 we had 31, so we're up about 9. Total in 2024 we had 194 permits total, which is about a 57 permit increase from 23. So we had a lot going on with the building code. Several roofs. The one thing about that, I guess, I want to mention is I probably have, I'm guessing 15 permits I give to roofers that had already started the roof. And that would never have happened without this position filled, because I can drive around town and find them and talk to them, and a lot of them don't realize, and some of them do. So we give them a fine, which the fine's already set. It's a 25% of what the permit is, so it's a $40 permit, so $10. So, but I just want to make sure they're getting them done right, because that's one of the things I think with roofing. You know, when you got some of these old houses with 3 and 4 layers of roof material on them, it gets really heavy, fire issues, a lot of things. So right now the code is only 2 layers of roofing material, roofing systems on any building. So that's what we're trying to get to. Property maintenance, obviously, you know, we slow down a little bit with that in the winter time. But this is for the late, fourth quarter of 24. Still working with some properties, probably around, I got 38 down here. Probably more than that at different times. You know, it's just the same thing every day. You kind of drive around and find some stuff and talk to people, and hopefully they do what you want them to do, and get things taken care of that way. I do have 2 properties charged right now, and both of them are scheduled to go to court in February. One is a kind of a 657A route, because we spoke about the empty houses here in town during the goal setting. So the abandoned type of houses that's been abandoned for quite some time, and definitely in violation of ordinances. So we started going down that path with some of these abandoned houses, is what I'd call them. Speaking with, you know, if I get contact with the owners, yeah, you know, I'll definitely work with them, but some of them just never contact you. So you end up going to court, and that's where we're at with 2 of them here. One's a more of a commercial building, and one's a house. So we'll see what happens. Go from there. I've got a couple more abatements out for abandoned houses that I have contacts with that I'm meeting next week to hopefully get a plan in place for those. My other part of the job is rental inspections. I got 318 done this year. Kind of did it throughout the whole year. And that's kind of the goal, 300 to 320 a year to get through all of them. And they're, you know, same stuff, you know, fire detectors usually, smoke detectors, I mean, and CO, and some other issues I go back for and make sure they get done. And so that's where we're at. I think this next one's gonna be a good one for this kind of stuff, so appreciate your time. Any questions?
Brad?
Anybody have anything for Brad? No? All right, thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Mayor.
Mayor, before you move on, this is really kind of finishing year 3 of this style of presentation quarterly. Are you still finding value in what's being reported to you and presented to you? I just want to make sure, because you know, I know Brad doesn't mind coming, but if you think it's mundane, but I think the temperature of 2022 versus now is a little bit different, where I felt like in 2022 it was kind of showing some proof of how much work we're actually doing on this front, and we continue to do that. I just want to make sure we're satisfying your needs from a presentation perspective each time we go through this. So I just want to ask if you wish to see this presentation continuously.
I do. I think
I
the public needs to hear that.
Okay.
that we're moving
Move it to
forward.
monthly.
You up for that?
Josh did.
All right, well, item B is the 2024 residential and commercial rehab Award of the Year. I guess Dan Holman's here to talk about that.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. After reading Mayor Tom's recent State of the City report that covered all the public projects happening in Maquoketa, it's plain to see that the city is taking very good care of the people's business. So I thought it'd be a nice idea to shine the light on some of the things happening in the private sector as well. During the last year or so, we've noticed a few unfortunate residential properties in town that could be referred to as blighted without hurting anybody's feelings. But what we also noticed was a larger than expected number of just the opposite, private properties undergoing some sort of retrofit or a renovation upgrade, giving us a more positive view of Maquoketa. A while ago, Josh asked me to share some of those more positive observations with you. So that's what I'm going to talk about, a few places that have recently been repurposed or renovated in innovative and aesthetic ways. We've noticed private homes pretty much all over town that have undergone some sort of noticeable curb appeal improvement. The first of these that I want to mention is the house located at 207 South Eliza Street. That's the one in your paperwork. This house was done exceedingly well with a sympathetic approach to historical design patterns and an eye toward modern building construction standards and techniques. There was a lot of thought and imagination involved in this redesign. It turned out beautifully, and it's reminiscent of Grant Wood's famous painting called American Gothic, which is a very nice addition to Maquoketa's architectural landscape, in my opinion. As a result, this house has become a great example of the sort of creative renovation that can be successfully applied to Maquoketa's stock of older houses when they need renovation. Next, I want to tell you about the full-size Victorian house at 209 East Locust Street that sits directly behind the middle school. It has a new roof and a nicely rebuilt front porch redone to the original design specs as close as possible. We watched this happen, and especially an impressive new paint job that brings this iconic Victorian home back from the dead. It's great fun to watch the progress going on here, and expectations are that the painting will be done as soon as weather permits. But we also noticed some commercial projects, and the first of these is the Owl Storage Solutions business located at 418 North Main Street across from the lumberyard. This building stood empty for about 8 years, or at least 8 years, and it was empty when we moved back to Maquoketa in 2016. Its innovative repurposing as a climate-controlled storage locker facility reinvigorated the building into a useful and handy business. It's a change that seems appropriate for both the building's location and for today's local economy. And it's a good thing for the city too, because I think it's good PR. It lifts the spirits of some of the people that live around there, and also sends a message that Maquoketa is a good place to live. Next is the former Prezakli's Bar and Grill, we're all familiar with. And now it's got a new name, the Blacksmith, a new glass facade, a nice new mahogany main entrance door, and a much needed change in the building's color, all of which are big improvements. This project came along at a good time, especially with its close proximity to the green space and all that's about to happen there. So whenever it becomes an active business again, it should add to the economic vitality and the spirit of the downtown district when everything gets up and running. Then there's the Eagles Club on East Platte Street. After the storm blew off the roof, the building was renovated to an extent, in my opinion, greater than the damage done by the storm. Good for them. And now it's going to continue to serve the community in a pleasant and useful purpose for many years to come. So I'm thinking that the most imaginative of the few things I've talked about are the Owl Storage Solutions building for its innovative new use of an older facility, and the house at 207 South Eliza Street for its excellent exterior design that shows us what great new things we can do with our older houses. Now, if we stop to consider the various construction projects in town and the several new houses that are being built and all the renovations taking place, large or small, and what Brad's report just said too, the new garages and driveways and all the new front porches, along with a few things I've mentioned, if we consider all of that in one picture, something that we can look at all at once, then the point emerges that there is a lot going on in town in the private sector that maybe doesn't get noticed enough. So I believe that this could be an opportunity to begin to offer some sort of annual official city recognition given to the people who are doing their part to beautify their homes and their businesses. It all helps, and it helps to Maquoketa to become a better place than it already is. And it sends that message that here is a good place to live. I think what we're doing here tonight is an exciting, new, positive element added to the whole picture. Thanks for listening. Josh, I think you have something to say.
Yeah, thanks for being patient and listening. And I hate going after Dan. I remember his parting speech was phenomenal too. But cities do this in some form. I'm told the Property Maintenance Board used to give an annual recognition of some sort. Since I've been here, it's not happened. So, I don't really have a strong methodology in this recommendation. I entirely leaned on Dan and his wife, Deb, to recommend a few properties, and I've been on runs or walks before, and Dan and Deb just have a wonderful retirement habit of just driving around at 15 miles per hour just to check on progress for the fun of it. So I dream of the day. So I think it's incredible, like Dan said, and this seems to be the property agenda, but I just wanted to make sure that properties are being recognized, and Dan just did it in a very wonderful way. And one of them, Cody Faust, is here tonight from Owl Storage Solutions. There's a private donation and a match from La Casa for a $100 gift card, and I hope that the city continues this practice in the future. So let's welcome Cody and give him a round of applause for stepping up. And Cody, unless you really love city business, you can go enjoy that card if you want to, but stick around. Yep.
All right, well, congratulations, Cody. Next on our order is public hearing. Do we have any public hearings?
Mayor, we're missing the chamber report.
Oh, chamber report. Yeah, okay, let's have the chamber report then.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm going to report on our second half of the year for 2024, which I feel was a huge success for the Chamber. We participated this year in the First Impressions program by Iowa Tourism and Iowa State Extension Office. We were one of 2 communities in Iowa to be chosen for the first year of this program. Over the summer, the group of assessment teams in town sent in a secret shopper sort of way. These teams researched Maquoketa ahead of time using various online resources to plan their trip. While here, they recorded their first impressions of the area. Their findings were put together in a comprehensive report and presented at a community forum in October. Overall, the visitors had a very positive experience during their visits to Maquoketa, one even stating that if they were looking to move, Maquoketa would be on their list. Some of the things that they did suggest we work on finding ways to draw people into town from areas such as the caves and more signage once they are here. We went with this suggestion and, along with Josh, applied for a grant through Jackson County Tourism and are working on creating new flyers highlighting different things to do and see in Maquoketa, including a map. These will be placed at the caves and various other places. The Chamber is also working with others in the community, including Stephanie Sagers from MAE, artist Patricia Sharavar, and Josh in the Creative Places Accelerator Program, a grant program through the Iowa Arts Council and the Iowa Economic Development Agency. We are currently working ideas for an arts-based project in this grant program. We are using some of the ideas and suggestions from the First Impressions program to help guide us with our project idea. Our It's a Wonderful Life event this winter was a huge success. After realizing last year that we had completely outgrown the fire station, we decided to take the chance and moved everything downtown to the 100 block of South Main and the green space Glovik Park area. The event, which was completely free to the public, offered visits with Santa in his hut, the green space, horse and carriage rides, soup, grilled cheese, hot chocolate, roasting marshmallows, games, free family photos, prizes, and of course, the tree lighting. While we can't say an exact count, we know there was close to 800 people in the downtown that afternoon and evening, as there was over 600 people alone that did the horse and carriage rides in a 3-hour time frame. We were blown away by the success of the event that day. Along with that event is our Shop Local Passport program, and this year, over the 6-week time period, over $127,000 was raised. I think it just goes to show how much our businesses have to offer. As a chamber, we also applied for a grant from Iowa Tourism for a marketing campaign for the Timber City Adventure Race for this year. And we were selected to receive that grant in the amount of $5,000. With the funds, we will be producing 2 billboards near the Quad City area, advertising on Roku television, and attending Canoecopia in Madison, Wisconsin in March. We look forward to the adventure race continuing and hope to see it even bigger this year. These main events, along with our Lunch and Learn events, new teacher luncheon, chamber bash events, and we also held 10 ribbon cuttings. Our current membership count is at 211, and over the entire year of 2024, we gained 18 new members. We sold just under $23,000 in chamber bucks, which turn around and go right back into the community. We have a lot of exciting things on tap for 25 and look forward to another successful year. And I guess on a side note, I'd like to congratulate Josh, who received our President's Award at our gala on Saturday night, and also John Hobson and for Public Works and MMU for my Director's Choice Award. Thanks for all you guys do.
Thanks, Aaron.
Otherwise, that's all I have unless you guys have questions.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Aaron.
Great job.
Thank you. All right, well, now we'll move to 7, which is public hearing, and we have none. We go to 8, which is our consent agenda, consisting of the minutes of the January 20th regular council meeting, our bills payable through February 3rd, 2025, in the amount of $1,436,779.05. The January financial reports, Arbor Day Proclamation, the renewal of a Class E retail alcohol license for Casey's number 2578, the amendment of a Class E retail alcohol license for Hy-Vee Incorporated, and the appointment of Benjamin Davison to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
We got a motion by Colister, seconded by Bennett. Any discussion here? Then take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett, yes, Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Move on to number 9, which is old business, and we have none. Item 10 is new business, and A is a resolution approving plans, specifications, form of contract, and authorizing invitation to bid on construction of the Glovik Community Park. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and I hope you've each had a thorough chance to review the plans and take a look at this, and we're all very pleased to present this, and the Maquoketa Betterment Corporation and the broader community have been hoping for this moment since 2008, and so this is a big one. It's exciting. With your blessing tonight, we'll be seeking competitive offers for this project as designed. With the bid offers returned by the end of the month, first meeting in March, you should expect some competitive offer to consider and hopefully authorize. So the plans, as Mr. Saunders was alluding to, are not exactly on the southwest corner, not on the northeast side for stage. It doesn't include a second level story, and a lot of these decisions are because of cost feasibility, simply put, and we have the money we have for the project as designed. And even still at this $1.278 million number, that's with Public Works Department picking up quite a bit of sidewalk work. When they tap the sewer, when they tap the water, the southeast restroom structure, that's with the Public Works Department backfilling rock and paving it. They're capable of it, but there's some tricks going into this to pull this off with the money that we have. If we had $5 million, we might be able to do everything that we could, possibly dream of, but that's not the situation we're in. The plans that are in front of you have been the most decentralized, community-driven plans I've ever experienced. It's been slow. It's been a lot of committees. It's been subcommittees. Councilman Lyon knows this. And I think that we've done a very good job gathering community input and excitement by doing that. And it's now on you to go ahead and vote and approve them if you wish.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by, a motion by Lyon, seconded by Bennett. Any discussion here? I'm gonna take the roll.
Hollister.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett. Yes. Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Item B is a resolution approving a joint 28E financial agreement with the Jackson County and Jackson County Conservation Board for the Prairie Creek Recreation Area funding. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. And the Finance and Personnel Committee heard this proposal just a couple weeks ago, but essentially with the grants that we have going into the Prairie Creek project, the 750,000 to 400, a lot's changed since May of 2022. And now that the financials are known, we approached the County and Conservation Board to take up an updated 28E, which is what this is. So we'd like to finish the budget year, fiscal year 25-26, with all the dollars reconciled, and this agreement makes it so and gives it a final due date for contributions and everything by June 1, 2026. Should be finished well before that, but that's the end date in the agreement.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Bennett,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Do we have any discussion here? Any questions? Then take the roll.
Coleman.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett. Yes. Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Hollister.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Item C is a resolution approving the Alliance increase. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is a routine annual increase request that Alliance submits every year. If you don't agree, it eventually goes to the COLA number. That's how the contract works. But 3.1 and the couple preceding have been fairly reasonable for us to consider. I don't think 3.1 is a bad offer considering equipment cost or service cost or labor costs as it's been. Jen's done a pretty decent job managing the crew that they have, and this was given to the Public Works Committee for consideration. It's recommended for approval tonight.
Okay,
So moved.
motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by, seconded by Rickrell. Do we have any discussion on this? Then take the roll.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett. Yes. Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Hollister.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Item D is a resolution approving city support and commitment to pay $2,500 match to the downtown assessment grant. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. And Kelly Brown, if you're listening, if you want to add in comments here once I'm finished, please do so. But this is a downtown assessment grant, more kind of an opportunity assessment for our downtown. And I think over the last 6 to 12 months, we've fallen kind of under a perception that we've lost businesses, and we have. One of the interesting parts of this is the state's willing to submit $20,000 into this project, but requires a $2,500 city match. So I hope to see a lot of this. I'm not exactly clear on what we're getting, but I'm willing to roll the dice and see what the state comes up with. I can tell you from a management perspective that when you're pursuing grants of any sort with IEDA or IFA or any of the others, that the more involvement you show in these programs, that you're backed by this plan for this very purpose, and this is what we did in this year, you're very likely to have that sort of success at a later time. Kelly late last week was doing a personal inventory tour of buildings and owners and what's empty and is it actually rented, is it open? And we found actually across her spreadsheet that 83.13% were occupied or open or something, and that number was actually a little bit better than I had thought. So obviously it'd be nice to see 83% turn into 90%, and maybe this will get us there a little bit.
Okay,
So moved.
a motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Do we have any discussion? Take the roll.
Bennett. Yes. Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Hollister.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Next is item E, a resolution approving a service agreement with iWorkQ rental program with an initial purchase of $8,700 and an annual cost of $5,500 for each remaining year over a 3-year contract. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and I can defer to Brad, who knows much more about this program than I do, but this is one of the outcomes that we talked about at our goal setting was to communicate in a better way and have a better management system in place for our software. iWork was the best offer that he recruited. Having the meetings he did, I did ask him to go to some of these other cities and visit their building departments and ask how they're enjoying it or how they're using it. And it came with good reviews. So Brad came back and talked about it with me a little bit, and having your direction from our goal setting session, I said, let's go ahead and give it a shot. And so that's my recommendation tonight. And I think one of the stronger points is that if for whatever reason Brad had he couldn't be here for work or retires, that there's an automatic training clause in the contract that they'll come on site and train the next person in that position for that job if and when that comes. So I recommend it tonight. And Brad, and if you have something else to add or that you saw, it'll be extra valuable for them to consider.
Are you able to communicate like you had initially asked, maybe with the police department, so you guys could work hand in glove?
So we can have unlimited users on it, so they could have access.
Perfect.
So troubled properties, you could put a note in there and the police department can get a complaint and pull it up and say, okay, this is a recurring problem.
Yeah, if they get a complaint, because usually they're the first line, right? People call them first about property issues or things that I deal with, and so they could get on this and see if I've already started something or if I've already dealt with something, and they could add notes to it, and I can check it out, and they could, so that is something. It doesn't have anything to do with like code enforcement or building permits. It's strictly for the rental program, which is, my opinion, just a mess. I mean, just to keep track of it all and, the inspections and, I'm doing a lot of it on paper now. This would streamline it greatly, I believe.
So it's just for the rental properties?
It's just for rental properties, so, it's only for the rental program.
Would there be an opportunity to expand that, to open it up to other residential areas?
Well, they have other modules you can buy. That's part of the problem with trying to find something only for rental. A lot of software companies come with a base package which has several modules, and you're paying for them upwards towards $30,000, to start with some of that stuff. So my task was to find something just for the rental property, because I think I can keep up with permits. If we go from 100 to 190 permits a year, we can keep track of that stuff on a spreadsheet, and we can go with that pretty simply. When you have 1,000 rentals and trying to keep in any given year, there's rental properties sold and bought and between landlords, and you just got to keep all that in track, kind of track of. And when you're doing it on a program, which we have right now, is based for a very large multifamily low-income housing project is what it's actually for. We use it basically to keep track of our landlords and what they have. This will help a great deal, as far as doing the inspections, having Bill give you guys reports on rental inspections and on rental properties, giving the landlords reports, them having access through a porthole to contact me or ask for an inspection or doing any of that kind of stuff. It's just gonna be better that way.
Opens up the line of communication between you all.
Yeah, and we have a lot of landlords that don't live in Maquoketa,
Sure.
so, it's hard to keep track of some of that, so.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. And do we have any discussion? Take the roll.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett, yes.
All right, that passes. Item F is a resolution approving change order number 1, and the increase in the amount of $6,560.25 to Earrig Works for the Destination Iowa Prairie Creek project. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This change order might only be 1 or 2 on this project. I mean, they're over halfway done on this. We're over halfway paid at this point on this portion of the project. But this is from Earrig Works. It's recommended by WHKS. There's some reductions and some additions here. The grand total that comes out to the net, 6,560 and 25. If you're wondering what a waddle is, I still don't know after trying to Google.
Was gonna
But-
ask.
Something to do with erosion retention, I'm sure, but I couldn't quite nail that one down.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Bennett, seconded by Lyon. Any discussion on this? Then take the roll.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Hollister,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett, yes, Simonson.
Yes.
All right, that one passes. Item G is a discussion and possible motion authorizing fairgrounds race events and fireworks events.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Like my backup says here, I typically sign off on this, but Jake Montoya, the race manager, and Aaron McCauley from the chamber have been kind of trying to figure out how to keep these visitors from the adventure race here. And one of the things that they have discussed is the idea of bringing back some version of seasonal fireworks at the race grounds. And you know, honestly, I think that a strong fair has been good for the city by way of hotel motel tax. I'm happy for them that they're doing well. I think that's good for the city. This is part of that mission, and it's close to July 4th. It doesn't compete with Bellevue. It does not compete with Grand Mound. You might say to yourself, boy, we just reduced fireworks here by ordinance. Why are we doing this? And that's a valid thought. You know, the point might be also to give people a reason to go out and see stuff in a commercial display. Maybe they're not as apt to buy Roman candles and some of these lighter things, and they can get their entertainment that way. I don't know. But I think that this is a good idea, and we're willing to try it out as staff, but the code states I have to bring this to council for this purpose.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We got a motion by Colister, seconded by Alinger. And do we have any discussion?
I think it's a great idea, by the
Me
way.
too.
Take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Hollister,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett, yes, Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Item H is the discussion and possible motion approving pay application number 8. It's claim number 10 for the Facade East project in the amount of $41,128.91.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We still have a punch list item outstanding at 103 South Main and 103 East Platte. The strange part about this is we're out of time for the grant performance period on this, and we need to send the payment out on this. However, we're going to retain some, as I previously stated, but we only have 10 days to pay it out once we receive it. So effectively, we're going to hold on to a few thousand, as I previously stated, but this check needs to get out the door as soon as possible so we can get this grant done with, which is why this is outside of the bills list, is because we're going to hold on to this just for a little bit before we send it out.
Okay.
So moved.
We have a motion by
Second.
Lyon, seconded by Rickrell. We have any discussion on this one? Take the roll.
Hollister,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett, yes, Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Item I is a discussion and possible motion authorizing repair estimate in the amount of $17,533.42 to McQueen Equipment for the street sweeper. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and I will have to lean on John just a little bit to discuss this one, but we've known for just a couple weeks that our street sweeper has needed significant help, and we were able to transport it out to McQueen, who's in Ankeny?
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's at their shop. It's a McQueen piece of equipment. It's got issues. We didn't know how severe, and so we're at a point now where they're in the possession of our property. They're the obvious people that are going to fix it. They can start fixing it mid this week if we authorize it. We could shop around, but that's not going to produce anything. For those of you who have paid attention to this piece of equipment, it's not exactly been great for reliability. And it's something that I think that we're going to have to pay attention to in the years to come with this piece. But we have an equipment budget for this particular reason. We got to use it. Unfortunately, I'm suggesting a heavy item here that's going to cause a $5,000-$10,000 amendment, that sort of activity. But we have a major fault in our vacuum part piece right now, and John knows more than I. It's just something that's very time urgent for us.
This is
worst-case scenario, we took it out there, they did do an inspection on it. We noticed that it was dustier than normal, and they found out that a water pump wasn't putting out enough pressure. Had gravity flow, every time we checked it, there was water there, but it's under pressure so many pounds, and that's where more of the dust was coming from. They looked into it, it kind of sandblasted itself, picking this up with the dust and ruined the impeller on it. One thing led to another, and this is where we're at. I am still trying to negotiate with them a little bit on some of the costs, but this is worst-case scenario.
What's the age of that thing?
How old is that?
About 4 years.
I was gonna say, it's not, I feel like we just bought the,
Yeah, it is. Well, that's what I brought up to them. The machine doesn't have very many hours, 1,000 hours. There's not a lot of hours. The water pump is only guaranteed for a 1-year deal. We only put about 250 hours a year on the machine. I brought that up to them. So that's where we are trying to negotiate a little bit on the total price. But I wanted to come to the council tonight with the full price, and if we can get it a little bit cheaper from them, I'm hoping that they'll come back with us with a counter offer. But I do need to get it up and running so we can have it for, I'd like to have it back by March, and if we do that, they said they can have it back to us.
How do you get it out there?
We could drive it,
You can drive it all the way out there?
yes. It's no speed demon. It goes about 55. But the towing bill, or, you know, it would have been another $1,000 to
Sure.
have it hauled out and back.
We had an issue with the driving part of it in 2022 when there was a dispute with the truck frame that we bought it from, or
Yep.
the truck country.
Yes,
You know, so this isn't our first time dealing with a problem with this unit, and the first time we had issues, it kind of got taken care of on a warranty basis, although a different major piece of this equipment. But like I said, I think this is something to pay attention to your next couple years, next few budget years, is paying attention to the street sweeper. So, and John's right on. I mean, it's warm enough now, we could start cleaning streets. You don't know if we're gonna get another rain or snow, but this is typically in the spring. Frank had these guys cleaning the streets pretty early in the spring, and kind of at that point where it's gonna get fixed anyway. It's just an unfortunate bill to be considering.
What do they think the time frame is on that repair?
just a couple weeks. They do have the parts on hand, so they could have it up and running. Like I said, we could have it back by mid to late February. That's what I'd like to get it going. If the weather does stay nice, we would be out sweeping.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Rickrell. Do we have any discussion here? Take the roll.
Coolman,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson,
yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We make it to item 11, which is reports and communications. Do we have anything from any of the council members?
Just that we're at $5,000 raised to muskrat-proof the aerators and fountain at Horseshoe Pond now. So 3,000 more to go.
Okay, good job. Anybody else? Not city manager?
Well, thanks, Mayor.
All right, with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Rickrell, seconded by Bennett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.